What's up? What's up? What's up? I am up at the crack of dawn washing clothes. Um, it is, what time is it? I think it's like 7:15. I got up at 5 o'clock. I get up at 5 a.m. every day. So, um, usually I get up to feed justice and I have meditation and stuff like this. So I'm up very early every day. And so today I'm up washing clothes. And since I'm washing so many, washing so many clothes, I was like, you know what? I need some big, large machines. So I went out to a laundromat to go wash like a whole bunch of clothes. Okay. Now I should be washing once a week, but unfortunately, it's like I'm doing so much. So I was like, I'm not gonna be able to no. So this morning I woke up and of course I do meditation early in the morning. And I haven't been talking about my spirit on my channel lately. So I've been talking about relationships and answering other people's relationship questions. If you have relationship questions, you can email me at soncerae@gmail.com. And I will give you the best advice humanly possible. If you haven't heard me give people advice before, most of my live streams are about giving somebody else advice. And so, someone emailed me, and of course, everyone always asks me questions about me and Priest's relationship because my relationship with Priest was one of those major topics that I spoke about on my channel. I vlogged my entire pregnancy. I spoke about the negative stuff, I spoke about the positive stuff. I just was very open and honest about my entire situation. And so people ask me questions about their relationship all of the time. What I don't usually talk about as often as I feel like I should is the spiritual part of my relationship with Priest. A lot of people think that Priest is actually Priest's real name. That's not his real that's his nickname, okay? Priest is his nickname. People like, how was you in a relationship with a dude named Priest? That's not his real name. That's his nickname. And so anyway, he and I had a very spiritual thing going on, and it's very hard to explain to a lot of people who aren't spiritual. Okay, that's why I don't talk about it as much as I want to, because a lot of people just aren't spiritual inside of my audience. I don't have a lot of like people who are into metaphysics and spirituality. I mean, I have a lot of Christians, you know, but they're judgmental Christians. And what's interesting is there are some Christians out there who are not judgmental at all because they live their lives a certain way. I was just talking to a pastor yesterday, and I was like, yo, I'm so surprised you're Christian and you've never judged me. Like, that's so weird to me. And he just started talking about his reasons for why he felt he shouldn't judge me. It's because he felt like he had done some things in his life as well that weren't necessarily classified as the Christian way. I mean, they weren't necessarily the worst things in the world, but they were, just a lot of things that, it, like having sex before marriage and having children before marriage. He told me he was shacking up with a chick before. So so he kind of could understand my situation. But for the most part, a large portion of my audience isn't very spiritual. And that's disheartening to me because I'm a very spiritual person. And I feel like I pull in the energy that I am. So I want to bring more people who are spiritual, who are open, who are positive. That's the type of person I am. And I want more of that in my audience instead of the negative people that come in here sometimes. And that's why I enjoy Mark, my moderator, so much, because he is a positive person. And when he sees some severe negativity, he just blocks it out. Blocks it out. So, um, as we're talking about my last relationship, we had a spiritual connection. People believe that our relationship was based around sex, but it wasn't. Like, we barely. No, sex wasn't our strongest point inside of our relationship. If you hear Priest talk about our relationship in our last in his live stream that he spoke about, he lied about a lot of stuff. He chose to be very selective about what he wanted to tell the truth about. But one of the things he did tell the absolute truth about is our sex. our sex, we never really had this relationship that was based totally on sex. Okay, so everybody get that out your mind. Just because justice is here doesn't mean that we were sleeping with each other often. I think one of Priest's main problems in regards to sex was he couldn't open himself up spiritually, sexually. One of the things inside of a relationship when you're dealing with someone who is spiritual, usually you can have a spiritual experience while you're having sex. A lot of the time, making love is it's very spiritual, it's very passionate, you're very open, it's a very positive thing. But I believe that priest has a negative connotation on top of sexuality, so it's very difficult for him to pull his spiritual side of him inside of sex. This wasn't what our main problem, but I'm going to get to what our main problem was in a minute. But I feel like in some type of way we didn't connect sexually. We connected in all other ways but sexually. And it could be part of my problem too, because everyone knows I was molested and sexually assaulted and stuff. So I have a very weird relationship with sex. I was just posting on Facebook the other day. I posted that I wanted a man who just wanted to hold hands and that's it, on some rated G shit. And some men came into my audience, was like, well, you better go back to middle school and that's never going to happen, and good luck with that. And I'm like, well, let me tell you something. If sex is the only thing that brings men into committed relationships, I don't want to be with none of y'all, no way. Because to me, it's more to a relationship than sex. I can have sex with just any random Joe Smo walking down the street. If all of these relationships and marriages that people are getting in are all based around sexuality and how much you can do that with each other, I don't even want a relationship. And I just want someone who wants to take it like super duper slow. And I don't mean the average super duper slow. I mean super duper slow on a level that it's oh my God. Like it's slower than fucking molasses. When I say I just want a guy around me who can hold my hand and we can sit down and talk and make out sometimes. Not necessarily have sex. Like I'm not I don't know. So anyway, that's all Priest and I would do. We would go out all the time, have picnics, hold each other, hold hands, talk. We were very intimate in that way. We weren't intimate in a sexual way. And spiritually, we would meditate together. I didn't meditate with him as much as I would like to. I would have preferred to meditate with him a lot more and to pray with him a lot more, but I didn't get the opportunity to do that. Number one, I think the main reason why we didn't get to pray and meditate a lot is because Priest didn't know a lot about meditation, and his form of prayer had something to do with him being a Hebrew Israelite, and he was really fighting with himself in regards to religion. He didn't understand the concept of the universe and a higher power. He believed that he was God and there was no higher power attached to him, bringing him more good energy. And for me, I feel like, you know, there is a higher power. I am God. I'm just an extension of God. You know what I mean? I have access to God. I have, the will to go out here and do whatever it is I want to do and create my own reality and manifest whatever it is that I want. But Priest had a warped, you know, uh, um, relationship with religion and spirituality. He was still trying to find himself in that sector of his life. And plus, he knew a lot about Egyptology and things like that. And I think honestly, he only touched the surface of this stuff. So when I came to him and I said, listen, you want to get on YouTube and you want to teach what you know about Egyptology and spirituality and stuff like that, because he pretended like he was woke. Like he was just spiritually awake. And so I said, well, we should create a YouTube channel to where we talk about people and their spirits. I came to him on a positive note, and he was just like, I'm not a YouTube guy. I don't think I'm, smart enough to do it, strong enough to do it. And I was like, no, you got this. I think that, you can learn more and do more. You could actually be like this long ass piece of hair. Like, you could actually be like, someone who teaches this stuff. We don't have a lot of that on YouTube. We got a lot of people who are fake conscious and they go out here and fake consciousness in order to generate some type of income off of people, but they don't necessarily go out here to genuinely teach somebody. And I think, this would be a good thing for us to do as a couple, as well as, just to inspire and help other people. He didn't want to do it. And that's unfortunate because he did end up making a channel later on, and it was all based around trashing me. And that really hurt really bad because I had put him on my channel and always spoke positively about him on my channel. And then when we broke up, I had to tell the truth. Our situation was bad. Like, it was so bad. And he took it personal that I actually told everybody the truth. Well, I had been telling everybody the truth to begin with. I never really went too deep into detail about our relationship, but I did tell everybody the positive stuff. And so I just believe that he wasn't in tune spiritually enough to be able to do prayer with me and meditation with me, because he hadn't even, specifically picked his own spirit apart and figured out what he wanted to do with it. When a person is uncertain about whether there is a God, or uncertain about what their religion is, and they don't have anything that they pray to, or maybe they pray to false idols, or maybe they think that they're God, they become atheists or something like that. I mean, he had this negative relationship towards anything that was Hebrew Israelite, but he knew the Bible like the back of his hand. Like, he could spit out scripture like it was nothing. And I would look at him like, yo, you know that Bible like better than me. And I was the one who was the minister. Like, I was the minister. I grew up in the church, ministering in church, ministering in song in church. And then when I got to Atlanta, I was ministering when I first got here. And I'm like, yo, I should know this Bible a lot better than you. You know what I mean? That's another reason why they call him the priest. It's another thing attached to them calling him the priest. They call him that because of what he did religious wise, and he was always classified as the good one. But he was really like hiding who he truly was underneath this false persona that he was putting on, like as if he was perfect and a decent person. When he really just had flaws like the next person. So um honestly, I feel like out of all of the people in Priest's life, I'm probably the only one that genuinely knows the truth about who he is. Because I think the people around him enable him and kind of want him to be a version of himself that they want him to be, or like maybe people just didn't allow him the space or opportunity to be him. You know what I mean? That's what I want to say. But anyway, so um it's hard for you as a spiritual person to connect with another person that isn't totally in tune with their spirit. Okay, so when you're picking relationships with people, make sure that you two are spiritually, in the right place with each other. Now, here's the thing that brought me and Priest together: the good energy. I had good energy, he had good energy, so when we got together, it was just like this big positive explosion. So when we were around each other, we loved hanging out with each other. We loved being around each other. We loved each other. You know what I mean? The experience of each other, because we had so much good energy and we were just bouncing it off of each other. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things. And it kept the relationship going for a long time. And I do want to say to anybody out there, if you are dating someone and they don't have any faith in a higher power, get out of that relationship, because there is something about people who um, believe that there's a God or believe that there's a higher power. They have a different persona. They tend to be a little bit better, usually, if they don't have like some type of mental illness where they're Bible thumping you to death, where they have this warped perception of what religion is. You know those people that I'm talking about. They're extremely religious to a point where you're looking at them like you're extra with it. Like if you get like this creepy vibe off of a religious person, don't date them or continue to be around them, because there's something still not right inside of their energy. But I usually, if you want to date someone and you want to find a person who's a good person, 9 times out of 10, a person who has faith in God or faith in a higher power, or even someone who is Christian, 9 times out of 10, they genuinely have like a good soul. Or if you're looking for someone who genuinely has a good soul, like go do volunteer work. Like in Atlanta, if you live in Atlanta, Go to Jose Feed the Hungry or something like that, and volunteer. Do volunteer work, because usually when you're volunteering and you're around other people who go around and they volunteer as well, usually these are people with good hearts as well. So if you're looking for someone who has a good heart, just go to a community service event. Don't go to a club. Don't even go to church. Because sometimes when you go to church, you're meeting a whole bunch of people who are pretending to be Christian. You understand? Um, and people who do volunteer work, it's kind of hard to pretend to be a volunteer. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, because you got to put forth so much energy when you do volunteer work. That's so selfless. Like when you go out and you're passing out turkeys and you're seeing homeless people and you're giving them grooming stuff. Like I used to go and cater to the homeless, and I would see all of these homeless people. It would break my heart to see them like this, but I would pass out toothbrushes and give them wipes and soap and deodorant and socks, and it would be other people out there doing the same thing. And there was like this calmness over my heart. Like I don't know, it was just, it's just a different crowd. It's a different feeling, and it's drama free, and it just feels different. So if you're looking for a person who is a good person, who has a good heart, your heart is different when you're in that environment, and you can actually be around a different set of people. So anyway, I think our biggest problem, the main problem inside of my last spiritual relationship, is that initially when we got together, right? Any type of bad energy that he may have had in his previous situation, he didn't bring it to the relationship. Because when you're in an old relationship, right? You've been together for a long time, and you might have some negative energy that's lingering that you never even got rid of to begin with, so it starts piling up. And so when he met me, and he was working on his own happiness, and he was living his life and having a good time, and that's how I was living my life and having a good time. And I kept saying, if I bring somebody into my life, they're going to enhance my happiness. And this is what I would say to him, if you're here to enhance my happiness, or if you're here to be drama free, or if you're here to, live the rest of your life free, and we're having a good time, I want to be with you. You know what I mean? But if you're here to bring drama and problems and games and lies and all types of stuff, I don't want to be with you. That don't bring that into my life. And he was just so positive around that time. He was just in a different headspace. And so then um I noticed when he started to detach himself from the relationship communication wise, to where he started to come to other people to discuss our relationship, is when it became a problem. Okay, because not only did the old energy, the old negative energy that he had from his previous relationship, because he was talking to the person that he was in a previous relationship with about his new situation, he was talking to her about it. So that old energy between the two of them was starting to be pulled into a new space. He and I had created a whole new space of energy. And so we're sitting here with like this amazing energy going back and forth, just bouncing off of each other, just completely happy. And he's, every time he would pull himself away and talk to her, when he would come back around, his energy would be negative. It would be different. And so he would bring like bad energy from his last situation into the relationship. And so anyone who knows anything about spirituality, energy, and metaphysics, that with energy, it builds momentum. So if you're consistently starting to pull negative energy into a new space, it'll start like making it smoggy. Like it'll start smogging out this clear air that you got, this clear situation that you got, and it'll start smogging it. And so I'm seeing like priests be different, and I'm starting to get confused, because he's getting confused, and he's bringing a different energy into the relationship. He's bringing the past energy into the new situation. And then he starts talking to other people at his job about our relationship, and his friends, and new women that he wants to sleep with, and people on YouTube. So it's smugging it up some more. And I'm sitting here looking at him like, what's going on? Because I'm not like the problems that we were having were that were being created because of the negative energy. I was like confused. Like I was like, where is this coming from? Because our problems, I wouldn't go outside of our relationship and speak to someone else. I would just come to him like, are you okay? Like, what's really going on with you? Like, what's going on? And so when he would sit here and he would explain certain things, I'd be looking at him like, what is he talking about? Like, I'm like, this dude is super confused. Like, he was on a level of confusion that, I mean, he just really did not know, like, what to do. He kept saying, I think I need to experience relationships more because I don't think I understand how to be in a relationship with someone. And I said, well, you were in a marriage for 14 years. How could you not know how to be in a relationship with someone? And so now that I'm thinking about it, now in hindsight, when you've been in an unhealthy, toxic relationship for so long, you probably don't know how to be in a healthy one. If you've never been in a healthy relationship, you probably don't know what it is. So I'm sitting here going through the process of trying to teach this man how to be in a healthy relationship. Okay. And it started to be to a point where his energy that he was pulling from other people, putting into the relationship, I start pulling in this energy. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I stopped being on focus. It was knocking me off course. I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to teach this man to be positive and be good, a good husband and a good friend and be in a healthy situation that doesn't have a whole bunch of arguing and a whole bunch of uh, fights and people hidden below the belt when they speak to each other? How do I show this man how to genuinely love someone to the core, genuinely have a friendship with them, and just not be, like what he was in his previous situations? And I understood, okay, he has energy from 14 years inside of a relationship, and now he has a completely new space with me. How do I keep him from not going back to old energy or from pulling that old energy into our new situation? I always felt like he was stronger than me spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he had a strong spirit. You know what I mean? Like, to me, there is a good person inside of him. Like, it's there, but it's underneath so much bullshit. Like, you don't even understand. Like, a person that has a good spirit deep down, and then it's almost like the experiences in his lifetime or the people that were around him that were detrimental to him, they had destroyed his spirit. You know, when you're a baby, you have like this spirit that, you know, is pure, and you're kind and you're sensitive. And that's how he was, kind, sensitive. He would cry, and his family would make fun of him for crying. So they gave him like this tough exterior. And it's truly not who he is on the inside. He's just a softie. You know what I'm saying? He's a softie. And so I kept saying, okay, I can't be the only person inside of this situation trying to make the situation good or trying to keep the situation good as it was in the beginning. I can't be the only one working on it. He has to work on it as well. And so initially he was working on it. And then when I got pregnant, he got even more confused because he was trying to iron out how he truly felt. Because, see, men are delayed in regards to their feelings sometimes. Like, women, we deal with our feelings very different. But men, they deal with their feelings too late almost. It's like women, we're already over it, and then they're just out now starting to realize what the fuck they did wrong. So with him, he was trying to figure out, did he still have feelings for his ex? And he had lied to me so much and was feeling bad about that. And then we were living in the extended stay hotel, and he couldn't take care of me, so he was feeling some type of way about that. He couldn't take care of himself, so he was feeling some type of way about that. He didn't know whether he was going to be at his job any longer. He didn't know how he felt about that. I mean, it's so many things that he was dealing with at one time, and I'm sitting here dealing with my own stuff at one time, and I'm trying to spiritually keep myself in tune and spiritually keep him in tune as well. And I'm sitting here like, this is way too much, because as I continue to sit here and try to make this man and keep his energy positive, he's fighting against that. So I'm saying to him, listen, you might want to meditate, honey. You might want to pray. Like where your mind is so off. It's like it's so something is wrong. And I just kept saying this to him, like, please meditate. Please pray. Because your energy is so bad right now and it's making my energy bad. And now I'm starting to act a certain way that I don't like acting like. Like I don't like to be arguing and fussing, and it's messy and it's gossiping. I got to deal with people on YouTube too, because I still have to sustain my YouTube channel. I'm doing that at the same time, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is stressing me too much. So when he came to me and he said to me, and he was only telling me how he felt. He wasn't expecting action to take place. A lot of time when people are talking, they tell you, well, I feel such and such way, but I don't know what I want to do next. And with him, he said to me, I, he was just saying, this is how I feel. I think I want to go on a date with Sonia. I think I still have feelings for her. I don't know how I feel about you in this relationship. I don't know. I don't know. He just kept saying, I don't know. And he would just keep saying, I don't know. And he's just so fucking confused, right? And I got tired of fighting back and forth with him and trying to get him to get his energy good, and he wasn't listening. And it occurred to me that I can't control someone else's energy. If they want to have good energy, they'll do whatever they can to have good energy. If they want a good situation, they'll do whatever they can to have a good situation. If they want to be happy, they'll choose happiness. You can't force them to clear up their energy. And so as I'm sitting here, and everything that I'm saying in regards to him clearing up his energy is going one ear and out the other. I'm saying clean out your energy, clean out your energy, pray, meditate. And he say something snide. Like, you sound like a Christian. You sound like you push a religion on me. Like little nasty, cruel, like stuff. And then, you know, the funny thing about it now is that I used to call him, just to annoy him, I used to call him Satan. Because he would do like I could not understand. He just had like the characteristics of Satan. You know, when they describe Lucifer and how he used to be an angel and how charming he was, how attractive he was, and people say that the devil knows scripture so well. They come off as so nice, but then it's manipulative. Like Satan's a master manipulator. That's priest. He has the behaviors of Satan. So when I was when I would say, yo, look, Satan, like, get me behind. Just to be silly, because I'm not Christian. Just to be silly, he would grab me by my throat and choke me and then kiss me. Like, stop saying that I'm saying I'm not saying it. But anyway, he would just have like this behavior. And he just reminded me of Lucifer. I don't and I don't mean it in like this. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny, when we was going through. But it's funny now because when I was calling him Lucifer, he would get so upset. Choke me, not choke me in a bad way, but choke me in like a plain way. And he used to hate when I called him that shit. So anyway, so anyway, people always ask me why was I in that relationship? They be like, because when I name all of these negative things, they think that was the entire relationship. They're like, how do you get with someone who didn't have a GED or was broke or was separated or was balding at the top or had GERD or whatever negative thing that they heard me say? It's like they X out all of the positive stuff that I've said about Breeze. Like, we had a lot of good times, of course, and I never spiritually connected with a man the way I spiritually connected with him. I hadn't done that with any other man. He's the first man that I had ever done that with. I've had spiritual connections with men, but not on the level of like that. And so, the main problem inside my relationship with him was that he brought old, smoggy energy into a new space. So that's why I tell people, the reason why I'm taking my time in regards to moving on, the reason why I'm taking my time is because I don't want to bring any anything that I felt from that last situation into a new situation. Old energy needs to stay in an old place, because when you bring that old energy into a new situation, you could tear it up. So you have to clear out your energy. You got to do whatever it is you can, whether it's stones, whether it's meditation or working out, whether it's breathing exercises, whatever it is that you need to do in order to clear out your negative spirit. Um, Please clear that out before you get into a new situation with another person, because you could be walking into something amazing and it could be changing your life, and instead of you walking forward, you'll think that, oh, I'm afraid that this could go XYZ way, and you'll try to turn around and go back to some old energy, and you'll bring that old energy into a new situation, and it'll look like your new situation is bad when it isn't. It's because you're bringing old energy and you're pulling it into a new space. You're taking it with you. You're supposed to leave it behind. You know, some stuff you just don't take with you. You know, on your journey, you leave that stuff behind. So just factor that in next time you get in a relationship with someone. And that was one of the main problems spiritually inside of my last relationship, that, you know, his spirit wasn't quite right. From the beginning, he hadn't totally cleared out everything. He looked like he did, but honestly, I just only brought out a good side of him. I just brought out good energy in him, and he hadn't cleared out his old stuff. It just seemed like he cleared out his old stuff. You know what I'm saying? It seemed that way. Um, to all of the people who are in my chat, thank you so much for being positive. I love you, true UBs. Okay, you are spiritually the bomb. All right, you're the real MVP. I have a new name for my haters. We're gonna call them rabies. Okay, my haters are now called rabies. True UBs, I love you so much. Thank you for being so positive in my comment section. You see anything negative in my comment section or in my live chats, please ignore it. Please tell them to get that negative energy out of here. Please do not get on YouTube going deeper into the rabbit hole of negativity. It's a waste of time. Don't nobody got time for the bullshit, okay? Don't nobody got time for that. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you have sat here with me inside of this live stream. And I appreciate you spending a piece of your life here with me. Okay? So, if you have any spiritual questions, of course, you can email me at soncerae@gmail.com. I'm very much a work in progress. You are a work in progress as well. We continue to work on our lives together. Everything about my channel is about improving yourself, okay? This isn't a place to feel sorry for each other. This isn't a pity party. This isn't anybody playing victim or anything like that. This is just one of those places where we discuss how we improve. And if we got to discuss some issues that we had, then that's what we're going to do. We're just going to clear it out by discussing it. Okay, that's all I do with my stories. Excuse me, I talk about them to clear out the energy and to bring in a new, better energy. I'm going to do more videos about my spirituality. I promise. I just got to figure out a way to make it entertaining for you guys. you know and I also got to build more spiritual people inside of my audience, and get a lot of that negative energy that was here to disappear, because a lot of negative energy came onto my channel, and I just want to get rid of it. But thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Have vision and stay focused, guys. Namaste.